Hey y'all, welcome to our third week of Zach live streams. This is number 10. We're at a full 2 hands now. We did it. Kind of. So today I wanted to talk about seeding RDB. I don't know if y'all saw the graphic beforehand. Maybe I had too much fun with that. But really the big thing I wanted to do, well, let's go over what we did last time. So last Friday we really just wanted to get some handle on testing. We really hadn't been doing any testing in our workspace up until this point. So what we did was we went into Cypress. I kind of retroactively added these. We were bad on Friday, but we'll do better this week. We created a build target to serve our API and our Angular app simultaneously in a single target. And then we switched our E2E target to point to this new target. So if we look at what that means, if we look at our workspace JSON, inside here, this is our, can you all see that? Let me make it a little bit bigger. Let's make this go away. There we go. So inside of our end-to-end project, we set the dev server target to, before this was just serve. Now we switched it to serving it with the API. So it kind of goes out and does both those things at the same time. And then we had to set specifically a base URL to this localhost 4200. So that way Cypress, this is just a way for Cypress to know what to open up to test. So we did all that. We wrote out our initial end-to-end task for just everything we're doing so far, which is right now for our social media app, user can log in, they can create some posts, they can see the posts that are created, and they can log out and they can do all that stuff. So the initial end-to-end test kind of sets all that stuff up. But we are in the state right now where we left last time, where we are just kind of mucking with the database every time we run this test. So let's just go out and run that now. So if we go npx E2E, and we want to do our circle web client E2E, let's run that. And so you can see the target that's being run right now is going to go out and start the Angular app. There it goes. It's going to start up our API as soon as this is finished. There we go. The API is listening. And now it should start up Cypress, like so. Let me move this over to the other window so we can switch back and forth on this. Whoops, where did it go? Oh, it failed. Oh, because we're not running it in watch. So let's do this in watch. What is it? There's some things it doesn't like about this. Well, maybe we'll get into that. Curious what that's about. Here we go. Oh, let's kill this and pkill node. Something failed bad about that last time we ran Cypress. Let's figure out what that is. Alright, here we go. Cypress should be starting up. There it is. See, there's our test plan. And if we run it, I bet we're going to see it fail terribly. I'm not sure what's causing that, but we'll find out. Tests are loading and things crash. What is a crash? Because it doesn't have one of these. Let's check my plugins file. Alright, let's see what that's about. So we'll go into our plugins file. Plugins. This over here. Wonder if it is something it doesn't like about this process type script. I don't know. None of this should have changed from our last time, so I'm kind of curious why this is happening this way. Oh, it's probably because I'm doing stuff like this. Yeah, I definitely don't want to be doing stuff like this yet. Don't want to be doing stuff like this at all, actually. Let's put some note here. Note clear db here. Somehow I think some of my mess got saved, but let's do that. We're going to cancel this. Oh, that's not what I wanted. And we're going to watch again. So we'll see this start up, and hopefully this will work, and we can demonstrate how things weren't working there before. What's going on here? Cool. Cypress coming up. There it is. Now let's run this. It's not able to see anything now. That's interesting. Let's try this. Let's just hit. Let's get a new window. Let's just hit localhost. Make sure things are working. Yeah, it's working. I don't know what's going on with Cypress right now. Let's see. Let's try refreshing. Oh, are we never trying to visit? Yeah, we're never trying. Oh, okay. Visit, not viewport. I think that's probably enough. Maybe it needs a slash. Let's do it like that. All right, let's see. So things are already running, so we should just, yeah, there we go. All right, things aren't working right now. It's because I actually, I think somewhere in between I nuked out all the users. Let's take a look at that. So let's jump into, let's make a new thing here. Let's open up Mongo and just see what's going on in our Mongo right now. So we'll say show DBs. You can see I worked ahead on this a little bit so we can see there's an RCircle E2E database in here, but let's just use the RCircle regular one. Getting a call from my daughter. So we'll use the RCircle, and now we'll say db.collection.users.find. This should show us all of our users, and we don't have any. So let's do this. Let's add our user back in. So we'll say insert one. I'm going to have my name be Zach Rose, and we'll have our username is Zach. We'll have our password is password. Go. Terminated. Go. Let's try that. There we go. And now if we come back to Mongo or to Cypress, we can rerun this test, and this should work now. Oh, did that not work? Expected to find. I'm wondering if I missed some things I meant to pull out. No, there's nothing there. Nothing there. Let's see. Type password. Got it. Password is password. Let's try refreshing that. Let's look at the logs for this. Make sure it's using the right database. Oh, it's. Let's see. Circle is listening. All right. Well, for some reason we're not able to log in here. I'm not sure why. Let's see. Can we maybe inspect? Let's look at the network tab here and refresh it. This login came back with a 200, but it came back with an error. Okay. If we look at what we sent it with, password is password, username is Zach. I expected that to work. Let's see. If we go to Mongo, and let's just run that find again. Username is Zach, password is password. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure why that's not working right now. Let's try killing it and then rerunning it this way. I wouldn't expect this would fix it, but I've been wrong before. Oh, let's hit stop. No, still not working. Let's just try working in here. No. Zach. Very odd. Let's look at our Mongo user inside of our auth utils. We call it auth models. Let's go in here into our libs, auth utils, source, user interface, username, password. This looks like they should be right. Let's go through the auth real quick. I'm missing something here. I'm not sure what it is. I'm definitely missing something. I want to go into our libs, backend auth, see why this wouldn't be working. So we have that coming in from the request body. We have this being, let's just put in here a quick console log. Username, password. Make sure those things are coming in right. So now if we look at what's going on over here in Node, we should see that these things, let's see, scroll down. So this was kind of the end of our Cypress test right here. But then we ran the, we saved these changes here. We can see the API started rebuilding and got rebuilt. And now you can see it's listening on port 33,000 again. So now if we run this again, just clicking rerun, we should be able to see in that console stuff coming out. So it got Zach, it got password. Let's try what, and let's see right here, console.log. Did I put it in the wrong database? Maybe that's it. Users.find. No, it's definitely called users. So we'll say just console log our Mongo user. Let's refresh this. Still unable to log in. Yeah, we're getting back a null on this when we come back in. Am I in the right database? Switch to DB circle. If I go into the Mongo, maybe I saved this wrong. That would explain a lot. Mongo, if we look at this, did I ruin things? No, it's our circle. So let's try this. Let's use this login. So we're going to just run this as is. So we're going to say db.collection.users.find1, and we're going to say username is Zach and password is password. So I did that again. It's coming up. It's, yeah, when I run it manually, I'm definitely finding it. Still not seeing what I'm doing wrong here. Let's just rerun it again, just see what the log is. If I'm still stuck after this, I'm just gonna keep going. Zach, Does that have a space afterwards? No? Zach, it's got a password. I'm not sure why we're not finding it here. That's odd. Just thinking any last sanity things I can think of before just moving on. I don't think there is. All right. That's fine. Let's just press on. So let's assume this worked. And let's do this. Let's go to our new Chrome window. We'll just make sure. Let's see if at least if when I run this locally, should this work? Local. Otherwise, there might be something very wrong. So I'm going to just log in with my username and my password. It hit enter. Maybe something is broken deeper. I'm not seeing network. Let's hit submit again. Got 200. Well, we might not be able to move past it until we fix it. Let's see. Password came in as password. Username came in as Zach. The response is specifically that we didn't get there. Okay. So I'm going to actually kill this for now. Let's kill that. And we're just going to run instead. We're going to call run R circle web client serve with API. And let's just see what this is about. Actually, let's do this. Let's go. We'll need to do this in a little bit anyways. So we'll say for right now we're going to have this thing called database name equals R circle up, and we're going to console log connecting to database with name $, database name there we go. And then right here we'll put database name. Alright, connecting to database with name R circle. There we go. So over here, let's refresh. Make sure we're going off the latest serve. We'll hit Zach and password. Submit that. And this errored again. But let's see. If we go to our login here, we can see we are getting the username of Zach. This is the password. We're saying let's find one with the username of Zach and password of password. Still very confused as to why this wouldn't work. Let's see. There we go. Let's try running that again as is. Yeah, it's there. Mongo is connected with that specific name. Connecting to database with name R circle. Yeah, it should be in there. Definitely should be in there. All right. Let's do this just for now. Let's just see if we can target the issue. Let's get rid of this. So we'll just find someone with the same username, at least. Let's see if that will get us any closer. If I hit submit here, still invalid username or password. Oh, did I have this switched up the whole time? Username is Zach. Name is Zach DeRose. So I can't find anyone with the username of Zach on my API. If If I run it from the terminal here, we see it though. What is that about? Mongo. Still can't find it. Still can't find it. Let's try one with the password. Maybe it's just something about the username that's wrong. Let's try that. All right, hit submit. Came back bad too. Let's just do this instead. Throw this all off for now, and we'll say so say find everything. Find dot to array, so we can get an array constant users equals log users. Let's comment this. All right, so that will restart our API. Submit there. Still getting errors, but if we look, forgot to await that. So now our users should be, yeah. Okay. Let's try this again. Oh, it's definitely looking at a different database name. That's so weird. That's very odd. It's definitely looking there. Huh. Yeah, this is definitely looking at the different database. It's very odd. If we go to Mongo, database name is that. If I go here, show DBs. Let's try use, or just use our circle E2E. So now we switch to the ETE one. If we run that same find one, we get nothing now. If we run just find on everything, we just, well, we don't even see anything. Huh. That's new. Where is it finding this then? I'm very confused. Port is listening on there. Connecting. Do I have multiple Mongo DBs running? Let me check my task. Activity. I'm gonna search for some Mongo. I'm thinking at this point I probably have multiple Mongo stuff running. Doesn't look like it. Let me kill every Mongo thing I have though. Let's cancel that. I'm gonna kill, on my other screen here, I'm killing the Mongo daemon thing. We'll make a new thing here. Mongo D. Now I have to give it a path here. I forget what the option's called, so I'm just going to look for it. DB path. All right, let's go Mongo D dash DB path equals. Well, actually, what's my current path right now? Okay, so I want to go to DB path equals / data / DB. There we go. Let's try this again. So we're going to run our circle web client serve with API. see how this goes. There we go. Let's refresh. Have test and test here and submit. And do that. Valid username. Huh. It's still giving me this back. Still giving me this back. Why is it doing that? Our circle. Let's open up our Mongo thing here. Collection.users.find. Let's kill this and just reconnect to Mongo. Show TPs. Use our circle. db.users.find. Okay, things are at least synced up now. Let me do this. I'm going to do db.users.drop. Now I'm going to do db.users.insert1. Hopefully life will return back to sanity. Username is just Zach. And our password here is password. There we go. Let's switch over here. When we log in, Zach and password. There we go. All right, we're back. We're back, folks. All right, let's jump in here. We're going to undo some of this debugging stuff that was clogging things up. Let's just undo it all. Undo it all. All right. There we go. Save that off. So what we want to do today, so we added this in here partially to debug what was going on just a second ago before we could figure everything out. What we want to do here though is we want to have kind of like a second database name for when we're running things in our end-to-end tests. But normally we just want to just be in our dev server. Like we probably want to persist our dev database so we can keep messing with things. The issue with running, an issue with running some of our Mongo or our Cypress end-to-end tests right now, let's actually go and run that and see. We're actually like polluting our database each time. So we want to do our circle web client ETE. So that'll start up now. So every time we ran a test, we were kind of, because we're adding a post to it, we were kind of like adding that to the database, and then after the test was over, like the database is just in a different state than it was prior. So we're just kind of sticking in these this extra data into the database, and then it's kind of not getting cleaned up afterwards. So yeah, let's run this here. Oh, Cypress, where'd you go? Oh, we didn't run it in watch. So just went the one time and succeeded. Let's run it in watch so we can see it. There we go. Hey Brandon, you missed me struggle bussing for a long time. Weird stuff. I was pointed at the wrong database name for a long time for some reason. So, but now we're trying to get our end-to-end tests such that we can test our stuff with Cypress without it affecting like our dev environment. So where we had left last week, we're kind of just dumping a bunch of extra data each time we run a test into the database. We're trying to clean that up now. So we can kind of run our end-to-end tests in a separate environment, just separate. So yeah, so it could just be in a nicer place. I'd really love to get it so where like our default mode is to just run Cypress and to get into some like TDD stuff, test-driven development, where we actually can maybe write some end-to-end tests first and then code it out and see if we can get it working. So let's make sure this is in where I think it is, in the state I think it is. So we have here all of our different integration tests. We're going to run this one. And this will kind of go through that laundry list of things we had. We're able to log in now. Cool. So everything happened that was supposed to. We clicked into create a post. We typed into it and we hit submit. And we can see our list got updated. We made sure that our list had this one we just created inside of it. And then we logged out. So cool. But now we'll see if we go back to this local serve, and if I log in here, I have 2 of them now. I don't even know how I got 2 of them, but I do. So and we'll see the more we run it, the more this happens. So if I go to the Cypress window, just refresh, and coming back to here, log out and log back in. Password. No, they all are. So this is like my dev environment, and everything's just like, the more we run it, the more posts we get. that's not where we want to be. So let's look at addressing this. Let's put our markdown file over here and make things a little bit smaller. Hopefully y'all can still see. So we are going to make our database, our Mongo database name, configurable in our sort of Mongo package here. So right now we're using this database name that's just kind of hard-coded. We're going to look to get this from our process.environment, and we'll give it a name here. We'll call it a MongoDB name. Right. So this will be able to see which database we're connecting to, and then we'll connect to it. So this will be good. We can kind of check the logs to make sure things are acting as we expect. But now, kind of close some of these things down. I'm going to have a sort of top level .env file. So normally you'd probably have to bring in .env as a dependency at this point if you're not using NX, and like kind of set that stuff up so that process.env will look into this file for the stuff you're looking for. But because we're using NX, most of that configuration is already set up for us. So we're going to make it like so. Right now we can see down here, you all see that all right? Yeah, that's pretty good. Right now our database is coming in with name undefined. That's because it's still going off the old serve we had. Let's cancel this and restart it. Let's actually restart. Let's actually just run it here. So we're going to run our R circle web client, and we're going to serve with API. And this will go out and run. And when we see it start up now, we should see things start up with this as our database name, because we're configuring this now in the .env file. And yeah, so there it is. Let's make sure everything's working here still. So this is our local stuff, password, login. This is all those polluted content posts. So cool. This is working now for local. We also want to make it though so when we run an end-to-end test, we'll be using a a different env file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a .env file inside of our project up here. And I'm going to take this and copy it, paste it here, and change it just a little bit. So there we go. And I'll kill this. And I'm going to run this now. npx nxe2e r circle web client e2e. So now, because I am running this target specifically for the RCircle web client E2E project, the way NX is going to kind of build our process.env is it's going to look at more specific things will override the more general things. So this general.env file down here at the root level will actually be overwritten by this more specific end-to-end this project-based environment variable. So let me move Cypress over to this other window, and like so. Oh, and it just failed because we weren't in watch. Shoot, I have to remember that better. But if we look at the logs here, we should see, yeah, so we should see the database we connected to here was the RCircle E2E database. So that's good. We at least did the right thing, connected to the right thing, and this test probably failed because the user we expected to have, the Zach one, did not exist inside of that database yet. Because right now I think that database is completely empty. And we can verify that here. Let's just use our circle ETE, and we'll just do db.users.find. I think this should be empty right now. Oh no, we still have the test user in there. Okay, that's good. It'll actually save, well, not really save us a step, but okay. And let's open Cypress. Bring it over to the other monitor. All right. And if we run this here, this will fail because we're still trying to fill in with the Zach information. So when we try to log in, it just kind of fails. Cool. So let's do this. We want to do something where we're actually seeding our database. Well, let's see. And the way we're going to want to do this is with Cypress tasks. So originally, I was kind of looking into this. I kind of assumed I could just import my Mongo stuff into the Mongo or into the Cypress tests, like right into the spec file here, maybe in a before each. Like I think I had this actually in here before, where I was like trying to import the Mongo client right here, so I could just like collection users like insert. It turns out you can't do this, and this is because the code inside of the spec file is actually running inside the browser. So we actually, if we want to do stuff like seeding a database, we have to do it via a node process as opposed to like a browser process. And Cypress does have a way for us to do that, and that's with tasks. Let me Google that real quick here so we can just show how we do this, because this is something I had to learn. So Cypress tasks, here we see execute code in node via tasks plugin event. So the idea is you kind of have this task with an event, and you can give it some arguments and some options optionally. So here we can see this is an example of how we're going to do it. So we're going to see inside of our plugins file, we're going to have a little on handler for a task event, and we're going to build out some methods for it. So right now, like in this example, we just have a log task. We're actually going to make one that's called like reset database, and we'll also make a second one that's we're going to call insert like test user. let's say. So let's go ahead and do that here. Let's minimize that. So let's go into our plugins. We're going to add right here an on for our tasks. This is called task. And let me bring up that documentation actually over here in my other window so I can like look at it. There we go. Cool. So on this task, we're going to have a method called resetDB. And we don't really care about any options here. And we're going to say, well, actually, up above here, I'm going to just take some of my Mongo stuff and just copy and paste it in. It would be great if we could import the stuff, but this is a JavaScript file. So I'm just going to do the next best thing and just kind of import some of this stuff. Constant MongoDB equals require MongoDB. There we go. We have our Mongo client. We're going to call Mongo client.connect. And then we're going to have constant Mongo equals Mongo client dot db, and we're going to put it in here since we'll always be using the end-to-end database. We'll do like so. Go. So Mongo, and so now inside of reset the DB, we can just call Mongo dot drop database. We can drop the whole dang thing. There you go. And then we'll, I'm not sure how this is going to work with the async stuff. Right now, this is still a promise we're returning. I think that's kind of works. We'll have to check it to make sure. We'll also add another one here though for let's say add test user. So we'll say mongo.collection users dot insert one. We'll say username is test username. Let's go like that. Name test name. Password test password. There we go. I think that's pretty much all we'll need to do. So let's go back to our spec file here. We'll have to make sure this is working. I'm not sure how the asynchronous stuff gets a little tricky because like Cypress handles most of the async stuff for you. So I don't think I actually need like this async function. I think I can just return this with the promise. So I can say sci.task, and I'll just call reset DB. I think that's will make it so before each test we'll reset the DB. And then for this specific test, we do have the prerequisite of having our test user in here. So we're going to call sci.task, and we're going to say add test user. At some point we could make this with some params so we could like determine what the username is, and the name, and the password. And eventually when we're like hashing our passwords when we store it, we'll need to copy that over into here too, so that we're actually storing a hash of the password instead of the actual password. But we'll just call this for now, just add test user. And then we're just going to adjust some of these things to match the test user we made. So test password, each one contains test name. And I think all the rest should work. So let's try saving that. Let's make sure we're not importing Mongo anymore from over here. Let's see if this works. I think I'm going to have to restart the Cypress because I think when you touch up the plugins file, you kind of need to do that, unfortunately. Well, let's see. The goal here is we're going to watch inside of our E to E. We should be able to run our tests and see every time there's only ever one new content post that gets added. Then if we rerun it, it's going to reset the DB. Oops, let's kill this. It seems to be an issue there too. I may have to look into that. Somehow when we're canceling the process, our Cypress process, the node's not destructing. It's still running afterwards. May have to look into that too. But for now, just wanting to make sure we kind of have this stuff set up in our end-to-end, where in end-to-end world, everything's fresh every time we run it, and every time we're over, everything kind of gets reset. Versus when we have our dev environment, when we run things inside of that, we should be able to see things persist without being affected by our end-to-end tests. So let's run this. And loading. Reset DB failed with the following error. You must return a value, null, or a promise that resolves to a value. Okay. So we need to return something from this. And okay, let's make this async. I don't know. Can we do like this? Make this an async call to this, so we can await dropping the database and then return null. Well, we'd have to do something similar here. So we can await inserting one and then return null. Let's do it like that. I'm going to have to restart this again. I feel like this is restarting the server is taking longer. Maybe it's because of the OBS. When I was running this by myself, this was going like extremely fast. I feel it's kind of dragging now, actually. That's interesting. I gotta get to like a 2-computer setup at some point. Okay, so here comes Cypress. And let's run this. And let's see if that fixed what ails us. Set DB. All right, I think that did it. So we'll see now. So after creating our task, we had just the one piece of content inside of our list here. Let me just full screen this. And there you go. If we rerun it, we should see content post. There we go. Yeah, we should see when we started out, things were empty, so we were able to like successfully reset stuff and seed it. Sweet. So this is the pattern we can use for doing that, for seeding stuff. We'll be using this more going forward. So like right now, we only have the test user we're putting in each time, but we could easily expand this to also say, like for a specific test, let's say where we want to try somewhere down the line, editing a content post for a user that has access to it. We could go through that, but we could seed it with sort of a test content post, similar to how we're doing this over here. So that's pretty cool. Let's before we move on from that, let's run things just normally. So we're going to call npx nx run our circle web app, and we're going to call this serve with API. Web client. There we go. Gonna refresh this. Make sure that's nearly set up. Building it up. There we go. We can see the database name. Looks like it's correct. Let's make sure. So remember, we had kind of dumped a whole bunch of content posts into the other database. So let's see if we log in. We should be able to log in now with our Zach, and we'll see. This is still kind of filled with all those ones we wrote up from when the end-to-end tests were still pointed at it. But we should be able to just go in. Let's just drop it. Yeah, let's just go into Mongo, and if we use the R circle database, we can call db dot or content posts dot drop. That should drop it, and if we log out and log back in now, oh, it didn't drop. Let's see. If I run find, maybe I called it wrong. How is content post looking? For its content posts. So if I go to back end, content posts, and get posts, content posts. I think there's something going on with me switching DBs back and forth, because these should definitely have dropped. But it's the API is still definitely finding them. I wonder if it's doing some caching on that client. I wouldn't think so. Let's try doing a test. Hitting submit. Yeah. It's very odd. If I find now. Yeah, there's definitely something weird going on there. Let me try. Oh, I know what that is. That's not my API at all. That's my NgRx stuff. So even though they got deleted from the database, my sort of in-client database is still packed with all these content posts that it knows about. So we really want to see these go away. We'll have to account for that at some point. Might have to like remove some of these entities. Kind of the way we have things set up now, NgRx would never expect for a content post to actually be deleted. Let's refresh. I think that may explain what we were seeing before too. Maybe I just had to refresh. There we go. Okay. I think everything makes sense now. Cool. So we did it though. We seeded our DB, we separated it out so that we have like two environments now. Our development environment, which is the one we're in right now, which we can run just by serving up the API and the web client locally. And we have now a discrete other thing for end-to-end testing with its own database that gets cleared out and reset each time. So results of that is we also have these like nice immutable tests where each time we run it, everything gets cleared out. We seed it back up and test it. So yeah, that's great. Let's see. I do want to let's jump into our Jest stuff a little bit here. And just kind of mark this whole thing as done. Inside of our Jest tests, we could look into the rest of our Auth effects. Let's see if we can get to that. I want to do the first thing though is let's look at our coverage. Right, so we can run, I'm going to open up the NX Dev Tools, or the NX console. I am going to run our front end auth. This is kind of the library we started looking at adding some unit tests for. And we are going to come down here and we're going to click on code coverage so we can make sure we're creating code coverage files, like a code coverage report. I think that's all we really want to do here. There's really a lot of stuff you can set here, but let's run it and we can see, well, I guess cached output. All right, well, that should still be fine, I think. But if we look now, we can see at the top level, we have this coverage file. And I'm going to open this up in Finder. And let me scroll over here. Oops. So we can open up this coverage report over here. Sweet. Yeah. So this is sort of the coverage stuff we have set out. If we go into state, this is where we started testing stuff. So we can see based on our like based on the tests we wrote. So we were trying to do stuff to cover this login effect. We can see actually we're not actually catching an error. Like let's say the our auth service just had an error, so this observable errored out. We can maybe try to write that test real quick. Let's see if we can do that. Let's go over here, and I'm going to actually grab this, copy. I'm going to make a new, let's make a new terminal, paste this out, and add the watch option. So this will kind of auto update for us. Let's go to our auth effects. I like to have the actual file over there. We'll open the spec over here. Can kind of close this out. Oh. There we go. Cool. So we have a test for when the user submits login and it works. User submits login and it fails. So we can kind of see those branches represented. Both of these are covered. A login succeeded, a login failed. Catching an error, however, we don't have any tests that will simulate that. So I'm just going to grab our latest test and copy and paste it. And I think this should be fairly straightforward to just make a new test that's going to cover that little break. So we'll say user submits login, but request has an error, right? So we have this hot, we have this cold. I think to do cold, we just have, I think X is like a magic thing. So the idea is for this marble right here, is we wait some frames, wait some frames, wait some frames, and then we have an error. And we would expect this to look like we wait as many frames as it takes to launch the action. You can see those right there. Then we wait 3 more frames, so these 3 frames, and then we see a login failed, because you'll see we should catch the error, and we should go to login failed. So let's try that. So we'll hit save, and these should run, and we see the tests pass. And if we go over here into our coverage, it should have updated the coverage, so we can just hit refresh here. Maybe I need like a hard refresh. No, it's not working. Let's go back here. It might be because we're in watch. Let's cancel. Maybe we can't do this with watch. Wait, did I do the wrong one? I think I did the wrong one. Yeah. I don't want to get rid of that. There we go. Let's try that. Go. Things should pass. If we refresh now. Oh no, it's still not happening. Why is that the case? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Let me try. Yeah, we just struggle busing all over today. Let's delete this coverage. And so now if I open it, it's empty. Let's try running that again. Just going to update that like that so the caching won't hit. Oh, it still cached it. Let's see. I'm just going to turn off caching on the tests for now. Maybe that's what's causing our problems. NxJSON. Man, things are coming out of this quick. It's okay, we'll add them back in eventually. Alright, so now if we run, okay, now it won't cache it. So we should be overwriting it now. Alright, and now if we go up here to our coverage, we should see, okay, new stuff. And if we refresh, still saying we don't have this. We're still not catching the error, but we definitely are. I don't know what that's about. Let's try killing this, and we'll open index. Yeah, just I wonder if it's something about the code we wrote still not registering as hitting that branch. I would have thought we did. Yeah, still seems to say that. Let's try this. Go into here, go into here. So rather than doing like so, we'll say we'll return that there, and console.log in here to say logout should fail and be caught. I think that's. Oh, wait. I am in the wrong place altogether. So I look in the wrong place up here? No, that's fine. Just grab this, undo all that. There we go, and paste it in here. This should be a login failed. Login should fail and be caught. All right. Let's see if we run this again. We should be able to see that getting logged out. Otherwise, we may not be catching that error actually. Let's see. So it says it ran all tests, and we don't see the login. It's interesting. How do we, let me make sure I'm doing this right. So let's say I'm just going to Google test scheduler error event marble diagram. What's the thing for an error? Is it just an X? Oh, it's not either. It's the hashtag. There we go. I think that was our issue. Let's hit that. Should still see all three things pass. It's kind of interesting that things were passing there before. And now we can see, yeah. Now we can see the log. Okay, so I had the X in here. That was wrong. It needs to be the hashtag. That was only the really thing we need. Let's undo that, save it. So this effects is actually untouched. But now if we go over here and refresh, yeah, now we're actually getting it. Let's rerun it now that we've cleaned out that console log. Boom. I am going to go back into our nx.json and let tests come back in now. All right, and if we do watch now, I think this was working together the whole time. I just was throwing an error the wrong way in my marbles. All right, there we go. Refresh this. There we go. All right, let's see if we can get to, we're 6 minutes over. Let's see if we can get to 100% code coverage for our effects here real quick. So we already have our login That's fully tested. Actually, I want to make one more test here. Just want to make sure things are happening like I think they are. Because again, that's the good part about unit tests. So we have now the catch error. So we're going to send this to login failed. I want to do though. So I want to mock this return value in this next one. Well, let's say user submits login, but request has an error. Then they log in again successfully. Right. Okay, so we're going to mock return value. I think we just want to do this once here. And then, so we want to make it set up so there's another A event somewhere down the line here. So the first time it comes in, we want to mock it out so it's an error. The second time it comes in, we want to mock it out so it's like a success. So let's grab this like so. Boom. I don't think this will work because I think we'll need to figure out a way to mock out this this second return value after this first one gets done. So how would I do that? Gotta kind of make it so. Well, let's make sure this doesn't work. So we expect it to be like this many after. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So expect that to see that. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, and we should see a. Call it a D here. D is, oh, I actually grabbed the wrong stuff here. Let's grab this. This is what I want. Oh no, that's not what I want. This is what I want. There we go. So I'm going to put this here. And I need to grab the user from up here as well. Go. There you go. All right. I expect this to fail, but let's make sure. Error. Right there. Oh, okay. So D is a login succeeded with our user. Is that all this needs? Yeah. I think that's all this needs. Let's put this on one line just to make things a little more readable. There you go. Oh, well, they all passed. So this kind of confirms. Oh, I'm kind of surprised that this worked, but that's okay. I learned something new today. I didn't expect this to work, but I guess when we say mock value once, it'll just do it once, and then we can just use this to mock out the second one. Let's make sure that's true. Let's add another couple frames in here. Make sure this fails now. So if I hit save, we should see this fail. Yes, it does fail. And it fails because it gets on the wrong frame. Okay, so I'm pretty confident in this test. Let's get rid of that back. So this was just to make sure. I know there's some stuff with catch error. I think it like auto, it's not going to, there's been some times I've had errors in the past where I set up an effect, but using a catch error will actually, it'll like dispatch this action one time, but after that the effect just kind of goes dead. So I wanted to set up this test to make sure, even if the user comes in and we have a unsuccessful or an errored HTTP request, it's still listening. So when the second one comes through, we still eventually get the correct response for it, or the correct success action. So cool. We did that. I'm going to minimize that out. We'll make a new describe block here for login. Let's see if we can get, or log out rather. So goal here is to get to 100% coverage for this file by the end of today. I think we can do it. So let's do that. And we'll have, let's just kind of copy from here. Have similar stuff set up. Test scheduler, submit, log out. There we go. I don't think we need anything with this, so this will become, let's just put this all in one line. And go. Doesn't matter what our user is. Log out, return mock value. What does that look like? Let's look at our logout handler. It just sends nothing, really. So we can't really like fail this. How does this look over here? Yeah, we can't really fail this unless we catch an error. Okay, so that's how we'll kind of set that up. So it just comes in with kind of a B is, well, let's just make it an empty object, right? Like so. There we go. We expect this. Yeah, we still got like our 50-second thing. Why not? So we'll put in here log out to be log out succeeded. And this doesn't have any props, I don't believe. All right, let's run that. See how we're doing. Yep, passed. If we refresh this, we should see we still need the catch error. Let's do that real quick. Grab this, copy, paste it. User, oh, let's rename this. User submits log out. Works. User submits log out and oops. And network error. There we go. Actions. Let's get rid of. Just have some. Like that. Mark return value. We'll have like 2 things, 3 things, and then that. And we don't need any of this. And then here we should see. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1, 2, 3, and then our C. And we'll say logout failed, like so. No, whatever. Okay, that got that. If we refresh here, logout failed. There we go. All right, last one is this remove access token on logout. So this one, we're not actually caring about what happens to the effect. We're just making sure the side effect got hit. So let's do that real quick. Whoops. Call this describe. We'll call this the, well, let's copy paste this over. Remove access token on logout. Very good. And we'll set this up similarly. So we'll still use the test scheduler. I think we can do this, but we won't need, I don't think we'll need cold or expect observable, but we will need flush. Right, so here we have our actions, and we'll say somewhere through here we'll have a log out succeeded. So this is saying somewhere in our action stream we'll see this logout succeeded. When we do, we can just do this. We can say flush, and we can say mock auth service dot remove access token. We'll say expect dot to have been called times 1. So this is just saying here's the actions we're going to flush. That's going to actually subscribe and make all the side effects happen and all that stuff. And then we're going to expect our remove access token from our mock service to have been called. So let's hit save on that. I think this should work. Otherwise, I'll have to look into flushing a little bit. I think this is right, though. Oh, encountered an exception. Let's see. Cannot read property run of undefined. What's that about? Oh, maybe I put this one a little too low. Let's copy this. Put it inside here. Is that right? No, that's not right. That's definitely not right. Describe. Undo what I did there. So we have our describe, and here. Somehow our test scheduler.run is undefined. Why is that the case? Because I'm never testing it. Test on logouts. The access token should be removed. Forgot to surround this in a test. Dedoy. Alright, that's fine. Copy. Figured it out pretty easily, I think, compared to some of the other earlier blunders I had today. But here we go. Oh, still failing. I wonder why that happened. Do I need to subscribe to that? I thought I just needed to flush this. Let's see. We're going to call effects dot subscribe. See if this fix was what ails us. That fixes it. Do I even need flush? I'm wondering if I did this right. Yeah, I think I did this right. Yep. I think that's what we need to do. So I was thinking flush would just subscribe to that action for us, but that doesn't really make sense. I think we have to do this, but then we have to call flush to make sure, like, sort of these actions that got put into the scheduler get flushed out before we can make sure things get called when they need to. Let's try this just real quick with 3. Let's make sure this will fail. Yeah, there we go. And if we hit that, we'll let the coverage generate. And if we refresh here, ba-boom, hundreds across the board. Sweet, we did it, y'all. We set up our seeding of our database inside of our end-to-end stuff. We got 100% coverage on our Auth Effects class here in Jest. We went over 20 minutes, but no one's really counting. So I'm going to chalk this up as a win. Thanks for everyone for coming out, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.